All right, today we're tackling a problem that, let's be honest, gets so many of us: procrastination. We're going to dive into a pretty radical way to rethink it, all based on Dr. Neil Fuhr's book, The Now Habit, and give you a real strategy for finally breaking free.
You know that feeling, right? That cycle of putting things off, then the frantic rush to finish, and all the while that little voice of guilt in your head telling you the work isn't your best. It is an absolutely exhausting way to live. And this quote just nails it. The real pain isn't just about blowing a deadline. Like Dr. Fiore says, it's that constant, low-level buzz of anxiety, the guilt, the regret, thinking about all the things you could have done. Man, that is a heavy price to pay. So how in the world do we get caught in this trap in the first place? Let's take a look at the way we usually think about this, which, it turns out, is mostly wrong. Yeah, the usual advice is just stop being lazy, or you just need more discipline. It basically blames you, framing procrastination like it's some kind of moral failure. But what if that whole diagnosis is not just wrong, but is actually making the problem a whole lot worse?
Okay, this right here is the absolute core insight of the Now Habit. It's a huge shift in how you see the problem, and honestly, it can change everything. Here it is, the single most important idea. Procrastination isn't the problem. It's your attempt to solve a problem. It's a coping mechanism, a little trick you taught yourself to get some temporary relief from the anxiety a big task is making you feel. It's a bad strategy, for sure, but it is not a flaw in your character. And this is a massive power shift in your own head. Going from "I'm lazy" to "I feel anxious" is everything. It's the difference between shame and strategy. The focus stops being about what's wrong with you and starts being about finding what works for you.
So, if procrastination is just our brain's weird way of dealing with anxiety, the next obvious question is, where is that anxiety coming from? Well, the book breaks it down into 3 key fears that are usually hiding underneath it all.
First up, you've got the classic fear of failure, that feeling that if you make one mistake, it means you're a failure. Then there's the fear of perfectionism, which can be so paralyzing you can't even start. And then there's this really sneaky one, the fear of being overwhelmed. Dr. Fiore calls it the pole vaulter syndrome, where every time you succeed, the bar just gets raised higher and higher, and you never ever get a break.
Okay, so if the problem is really fear and anxiety, what's the antidote? You'd think the answer is more hard work, more discipline, but the book suggests something totally radical: the power of play.
This might be the most mind-bending idea in the entire book. What if, instead of forcing yourself to work more, this secret was to strategically, intentionally schedule guilt-free fun and relaxation? I know it sounds completely backward, but there's a really powerful logic behind it.
I mean, just think about it. When your life feels like it's all work and no play, work becomes the villain, right? It's the thing stealing all your joy. So you start to resent it. And that resentment is pure fuel for procrastination. But guilt-free play flips that script. It recharges you, and it actually makes you want to get back to work. And look, this isn't just a nice theory. Dr. Fiore saw this with his own eyes when he was working with graduate students. The ones who actually finished their dissertations on time weren't the ones chained to a desk 24/7. Nope. They were the ones who made time to go for a run, see their friends, or go dancing. Their lives were full, and that made their work more focused and sustainable. So how do you actually do this? How do you schedule more play to get more work done? Well, the book gives us an amazing practical tool for exactly this. It's called the Unschedule. The Unschedule basically takes a traditional calendar and flips it completely upside down. Instead of being this terrifying list of work you have to do, you first fill it up with the things you actually enjoy. It creates a system that literally pulls you toward being productive. Here's how it works. It's so simple. Step 1, schedule play first. Seriously, before a single work task goes on your calendar, you block out time for fun, friends, exercise, all of it. This guarantees you have a life and kills that feeling of resentment. Step 2, work in short bursts. In the empty spaces, you just aim for 30 minutes of focused work. 30 minutes! It's such a small, non-threatening goal, it makes it way easier to start. Step 3, and this is crucial: record work after you've done it. You only write down that 30-minute block after you've completed it. This turns your calendar from a to-do list into a look what I did list. It's a record of your wins. And finally, step 4, reward yourself. Every time you finish a block of work, you've earned one of those fun things you already scheduled. This creates this awesome positive feedback loop that actually makes you want to work again.
At the end of the day, using these tools isn't just about changing what you do, it's about changing who you think you are. It's about making a fundamental shift from seeing yourself as a procrastinator to seeing yourself as a producer.
Just listen to the language here. It's a total game changer. I have to finish this. That's the language of a victim. It's an obligation, and it creates resistance. But I choose to start for 30 minutes. That's the language of a producer. It's about empowerment, it's about choice, and it's about taking one small, totally manageable step. This quote shows you the ultimate goal. The person in this example didn't just manage her procrastination, she unlearned the need for it. That's such a profound shift in identity. She stopped being a procrastinator trying to cope, and she became a producer who was in control of her work and really her life. So let's end with this. Remember, this was never about fixing a deep character flaw. It's just about finding a smarter strategy. So the real question is for you. What could you get done? What could you create if you stopped seeing yourself as a procrastinator and started seeing yourself as a producer who just needs to choose to start for 30 minutes right now?